Why do three of the richest refuse to join the European Union? Switzerland, Norway, and Iceland. They're surrounded by EU countries. They rely heavily on trade with the EU. They even follow many EU laws. But they've all said no to becoming full members. Not once, but repeatedly. Switzerland, in 1992. They rejected joining the European Economic Area. Watching the UK struggle with the consequences of leaving made them think twice. That led to frozen student exchanges, scientific funding, and friction in trade. They just want a version of Europe that works for them. One with cooperation, not domination. In their eyes, full EU membership is not worth the price of independence. They'd rather lose some privileges than compromise their national legal system. So they remain in the sweet spot, close enough to benefit from EU trade and far enough to protect their sovereignty. That vote sent shockwaves through Europe. Since then, Switzerland has made over 120 separate bilateral agreements. It gets access to the single market for goods, workers, and services. Yet it refuses to be under Brussels' legal and political umbrella. Why? Because the Swiss deeply value neutrality, direct democracy, and national control over everything from immigration to taxes. Joining the EU means giving up some of that. In 2021, talks between the EU and Switzerland collapsed because the Swiss didn't want the European Court of Justice to override their laws. Norway, rich in oil, has high living standards and ranks among the happiest nations on Earth. It's not in the EU, but it's part of the European Economic Area. This means Norway adopts most EU laws, contributes to the EU budget, but it has no vote in the European Parliament. Some Norwegians call it fax democracy, because they basically get told what the new laws are with no say. Yet, in 2024, 68% of Norwegians still said no to joining the EU. Full EU membership means giving up control over oil, fisheries, and immigration. Norwegians have rejected joining twice in 1972 and 1994. Iceland, a small country with big fish. In 2009, after a brutal financial collapse, Iceland applied to join the EU. By 2013, they froze the application, as the economy recovered faster than expected. Fishing makes up a huge part of Iceland's economy. Joining the EU would mean opening up its fishing waters to other European nations. It's unacceptable to most Icelanders. They didn't want Brussels deciding who can fish in Icelandic waters. The fear of losing sovereignty over key national resources made full membership politically toxic. After Brexit, these countries became even more cautious. It all boils down to trust. These countries trust themselves more than the distant bureaucracy in Brussels.